Turned on my computer and started a weblog. Blog TV. I wanna be on Blog TV.
Hey, welcome to Blog TV, everybody. I'm the Flying Dutchman.
And I'm May Wong.
Today, Singapore Uncensored. Are we ready? It's an interesting question because we have been so governed for so many years. Can we actually handle the lifting of censorship?
I'm not sure we can. That's why you have an uproar in the community right now, or a lot of people with a lot of opinions to share.
Well, a committee was set up, and it was a review committee, and they made a whole stack of suggestions, and one of them was lifting the ban on some 100 websites. They include Playboy.com, YouPorn, stuff like, don't listen because YouPorn and sites like this. But the question is, are we really ready?
So we've got 4 people here today to talk about that and also to shake things up a little bit. We'll start on my right over here. We've got a father, and his name is Juhuat. You've got 2 teenage sons.
That's right.
All right, moving along to Kevin. Kevin's got 3 kids. He's got 2 sons as well as a daughter.
Yes.
And then also to Chia Yao, and he's a Sec 2 boy over here, and he's all interested and all excited to share his views on that, as well as over here, we've got Darren. Darren is a 17-year-old guy all ready to test the waters.
Darren has some very interesting websites that he visits that we will be telling you about later. We've also got a web poll running. The poll is, who do you think should be responsible for internet censorship? 1, the government. 2, parents. 3, no one should be responsible for their own media consumption. And number 4, you mean there's censorship on the internet? So blogtv.sg, that's where you can get involved in the poll. We're going to start this one off a little differently. I'm going to give each of our guests 1 minute to speak. You're speaking about Singapore Uncensored. Are we ready? Juhuat, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Your 1 minute starts now.
Well, I think the parents play the most important role here. Every parents care for their child, and if we are really want to be a parent, a responsible parent, we cannot say we don't care what our child do or see in the internet. So definitely for me, parents have to play their part, in cohesion. And that's where as a country, are we really ready to have totally no censorship? My honest opinion is no.
Oh. Okay, Kevin.
Well, I think we're ready for Formula One and ready for casinos. I think we're definitely ready for uncensorship to a certain extent. I think it's important to monitor this. So, of course, we're talking about information through the internet. Of course, censorship, of course, there are many different areas, including printing and so on. And we're talking about maybe different topics, including violence, pornography, religious and political areas as well. But I think this evening we're talking about essentially violence and pornography, yes. So I think we're definitely ready. Singapore is very mature. I think we're ready for. I think we are definitely ready for to test the water. Okay.
Your time's up. I just wanted to hit the bell. 14 years old. Your name is Chia Yao. You're a secondary 2 student. You feel that you can censor yourself.
Well,
Singapore Uncensored. Are we ready?
I feel that I can censor myself, but on a whole, no, we are not. Because, no surprise, but it's like pornography is a slippery slope. So once you get addicted to it, it continues on, and the negative effects really pile up. And it even affects our social makeup in Singapore, like crime rate, etc., etc. And in school, education in school, it's really essential. It's not just internet censorship, it's also about the lessons we learn in school. It's like you need those lessons to teach children what is the right way. I mean, eventually they reach puberty stage, etc. But before they reach it, they really should avoid those undesirable websites. Yes.
I need to just ask you one question. Do you need someone to tell you where you can go and where you can't go?
Well, personally...
Just yes or no?
No.
No. Why? 14 years old,
Well, because it's from my background, I deduce that it's wrong. I mean, like from lessons in school, that's why I was a bit unsure about whether yes or no, because my decision is also based upon what I learned in school and what I learned from my parents, because so it's like I deduce myself that it's wrong, but that doesn't mean that my parents and my school didn't have a role to play.
Really
in my
quickly,
decision.
one line, what have you learned?
What have you learned from your parents? One line.
What have I learned?
With regard to this topic.
Stay
To be
away.
a respectable person.
Ooh, you watch porn, you're not respectable.
Exactly.
people.
Moves on to Darren.
Darren.
Are you
Are we ready for...
Not- not to be
personally,
respected because you watch porn?
Personally, I think that Singapore is really, because we have to really like step up and be like countries like the States and all those in order to like grow, because the society nowadays is like changing also. People become more open, so it's like you do whatever you want, like just don't get in trouble with the law and stuff. Just if you want to watch porn and these kind of things, you just go ahead. Just don't go over the limit. If you want to watch violent shows, I mean it's okay, but if you're underage, just don't go, because you might get in trouble with the law. So yeah,
I ask you then, you brought it up, what is the limit?
the limit is maybe not daily. Like don't watch too often like gory videos or porn sites, because those, if you watch daily, it might start to influence you and change your character.
Now, we were told that you have a site that you go to which features people being killed by dogs ripping their throats out, women being burnt alive because they are supposed to be witch doctors. It's very graphic, it's very gruesome, it's very explicit, and you visit this quite often.
I don't actually visit quite often. It was introduced to me by my friend, from my
Okay.
friend. Yeah, actually this kind of website, if you know how to control yourself, it won't really influence you. It'll just, because people nowadays are like curious, you want like something new out of this. Because sometimes, for me as a student, I find it's all quite boring.
So
Sometimes
you
it's
watch
just-
this to ease the boredom? You watch people dying?
No, actually I just show it to my friends. Sometimes it's kind of funny, because it's something new. You haven't seen it before.
But you talk
Like-
about control. How do you control yourself?
For me personally, I know what I'm doing, so I won't get off track on these kind of things. Not necessarily if I watch a video of like people killing animals, then I'll go around killing animals. I mean, I know it's wrong, and that's why I watch it, because it's something new to me. So, yeah.
So the idea of someone being burned at the stake because they're supposed to be a witch doctor is new to you, and that's why you watched it.
Yeah, because I'm always out there to look out for new things that can entertain me. So
Okay.
so for me, I don't find anything that's wrong with that, as long as you can control yourself.
Would you visit a website like that? Something gruesome like
No,
that?
if I really want to learn about the world and why these things happen, I'll just go to somewhere like an online encyclopedia. I mean, they're good enough.
Encyclopedia. Isn't that boring? I mean, you can get graphic images coming
This,
up.
Graphic to a certain extent. You don't have to see them being killed. Come on. I mean, that's like a bit sadistic.
That is biology taking it to the next limit, isn't it? I mean, it helps.
Not exactly. I mean, the way you look at it is not in a scientific, educational purpose. It's to satisfy your,
warped
Meats.
mentality?
well,
That's where
certainly.
you were heading, wasn't it? That's where you were heading. Okay.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
I see a lot of gory things because I'm a surgeon, and I see things every day. I hope that doesn't change my
But
need that.
as I said earlier, it's from a medical perspective. It's
Different
not as if, it's not as if it's detrimental to you. It's your job, and it's for the betterment of others. I mean, surgery, etc., etc. It's not like you see people being killed intentionally.
But Darren said earlier it's to quell his curiosity. It's just purely
Is there
that.
anything wrong with quelling
Yeah.
your curiosity?
I don't think there's anything wrong in querying your curiosity, but even he himself, Brandon, mentioned a very interesting point. You know, if we are when we are on the topic of limits, you know, when you are not of a certain age and all that. So I think that's where I think parents have to come in. Honestly, there are just so much information right now in the
Right.
internet. And for example, if I may ask Brandon, what age would you think that you shouldn't be visiting such gory website? Like you are 18 right now or 17, right?
17.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what age would you think shouldn't, until you pass a certain age, then you can go and visit all this gory?
What would be an acceptable age for you?
What do you think?
Maybe 20, 21.
When did
So
you start
2021, but you're doing it at 17. So it's
Yeah,
all-
because I was introduced to me from my friend. But it's not like, the site is not really like people being cute. There's also like some other pranks and funny stuff, like to the extreme stuff, like pranks to Japanese pranks, like to the extreme that's really funny. And gory stuff may not be sadistic. I mean, you watch shows like Saw,
Yeah.
like Saw and all those
Well,
horror shows. But
Okay, do you watch those videos where people get killed by dogs ripping their throats?
something like that.
Okay,
I mean,
over in
I
the
cannot
US,
remember.
a footnote, over in the US, they actually get to watch it at the age of 11. Do you think it's alright?
I don't think that's
I think that's too much.
Youngest
Okay.
person
That's too
exposed-
young.
So you think that's too much, and yet you visit a website where to get in, you have to be 21, and you're 17. Quite interesting. But take a look at this as we play this for you. It is quite interesting.
Porn websites represent 12% of the total website population on the internet. 42.7% of internet users view porn, and 25% of search engine requests are on pornographic material. More shockingly, the average age of the first internet exposure to pornography is a mere 11 years old.
That's worrying.
The NDA does not monitor or track user access to any sites on the internet and does not interfere with what you access in the privacy of your home. Every second, more than $3,000 is being spent on pornography. Every second, 28,000 internet users are viewing pornography. Every second, 372 internet users are typing adult search terms into search engines. Every 39 minutes, a new pornographic video is created in the United States.
So there are some figures for you. We're going to go for a commercial break. Those figures are from the United States. But as Singaporeans, how worried are you now? We'll continue this after the break.
Stick around.
TV.